Hi, I'm Emma. I want you to start lying down on your back with your knees bent, your feet on the floor. If you've got stiff neck or shoulders, you can have a blanket under your head and your neck. Press your left foot down and stretch your right leg up towards the ceiling. If your hamstrings are really stiff, then just keep them a little bit bent. But look at your foot and notice if it's rolling in or rolling out, and try and get it so that your big toe and your little toe are the same distance from the floor. Spread your toes away from each other, so the big toe to the left, all the other toes away from each other. And stretch your heel up towards the ceiling. Press the ball of your big toe and your little toe up towards the ceiling. And then just for a moment try and straighten your leg as much as you can, and look how your knee looks when your foot is straight. So if you have a real pattern of rolling in or out, then it will be affecting the line of the knee too. So just notice that, and if you need to, adjust your knee. Exhale and point your toes, stretch the front of the foot, and then breathe in and breathe out, and flex your foot so your toes come down towards your hips and your heel goes up towards the ceiling. And then open the foot again, and exhale and bring your foot back onto the ground. Stretch the other leg up, and we'll do the same thing. So spread the toes, press the heel up towards the ceiling, press the ball of the big toe and the little toe up to the ceiling, press the centre of the heel up, and then check out that knee, see if that needs any adjustment. And then exhale and point your foot, point your toes. Really stretch the front of your foot, the front of your ankle. And exhale, flex your foot, heel up towards the ceiling, toes towards your pelvis. And then get the foot somewhere in between, so the ball of the foot's open, the heel's pressing away. And then exhale and bring your foot onto the ground. Lift both legs. If this is too much, then get really good at the one leg at a time first. If you can, again, you can always do it with your knees bent if necessary, but if you can, straighten your legs, spread the toes, stretch the big toes towards one another, stretch all the other toes away from each other, stretch your heels up towards the ceiling. Press the balls of the big toes up towards the ceiling. See if you can get the big toes and the little toes the same distance from the floor. And then exhale and point your feet, point your toes. Notice if your feet roll in or out when you point them, and try and keep them level. Breathe in and breathe out and flex your feet, toes towards your hips. Again, try and keep the big toe, little toes level from the ceiling and the floor. And then get them to that neutral place, and we'll make some circles. Just roll them away. Try and roll from the ankles so your legs can be still. And you might find one ankle has more movement than the other. And then roll in the other way. And then bend your knees and give yourself a hug. Take a breath there. And roll onto your side. And come and sit up and sit on your feet. So if your knees are sore, or for whatever reason, put a cushion or a bolster or blankets between your bottom and your heels. Notice when you sit down, most people, their outer heels move away from each other. So I want you to rest your hands on your thighs. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, draw your outer heels in. Notice how your pelvic floor lifts. Take a breath here. Keep the pelvic floor lifted, keep the outer heels, outer ankles squeezing in, and then breathe in and let them relax. Let your pelvic floor relax too. Getting two for the price of one here, pelvic floor and ankle strength. Breathe in, breathe out, draw the outer heels, outer ankles in, let your pelvic floor lift. Encourage that. Take a few breath or two here. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, let them relax. Let the pelvic floor broaden, let the feet relax. One more, inhale. Exhale, draw your outer feet, outer ankles in. Lift your pelvic floor, lift the front, the sides, the back of the pelvic floor. One more breath here. Inhale, release the outer feet, release the pelvic floor. And take a breath here, just being aware of your pelvic floor. Good. Stretch your legs out in front of you, just to open up the backs of the knees. And then come back to kneeling again. This time you're going to bring your fingertips behind you. Breathe in and lift one knee up. And you can lean back just a little, or you can lean all the way back. Just stretching the front of the foot. And then we'll swap sides. Once more on each side. Notice if you can bring the outer ankle in here. And then both knees together. And again, you might even come a little further back here. Again, you can work on bringing the outer heels, outer ankles in. This is about enough for me. You go back as far as feels good. It's an intense stretch, but there shouldn't be any pain. Good, and then come forwards. Come onto your hands, just stretch your legs out one at a time. Just open up the backs of the knees. And then I want you to walk your hands in and really tuck your toes under so that you're on the top of the ball of the foot, you're not just on the toes. So opening up the backs of the toes. Now at the beginning, if you're not used to doing this, you might just need to rock forwards and back. Just gradually stretching the toe joints. But once you get used to it, you can bring your knees down onto the ground again. If it's too much, I spent years doing it with a bolster under my knees and that was enough. Keep the outer ankles in. If you're more bendy here, you can keep your feet together. And then eventually you're going to sit up and breathe. Three more breaths, wherever you are. And then exhale and bring your hands back down. Stretch your feet the other way. Tuck your toes under again. And come up into a downward dog. Just gently, gently stretching one leg. And then the other. And then both legs. And then walk your hands in towards your feet. Come up. And I want you to relax with your legs up, which is great for the feet. Take all the weight of the body off them. So if your hamstrings are tight, don't go right next to the wall. Give your hamstrings a bit of a break. If your shoulders are tight, have support for your head and neck. Just let your hands rest on your tummy. Let your legs, your feet relax. Be aware of your feet and your toes. Be aware of how they might feel energized from that work you've done. Let your legs feel supported. Let the back of your body, the back of your head feel supported. And allow yourself to breathe freely. Just take 10 breaths here. And then slowly bend your knees in towards you. Take a breath there. Roll onto your side. Support your head. Take a breath there. And then use your hands. And come and sit up however you're comfortable. Thank you.